Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at a couple FN pistols. And what we have here in front of us, we have an FN 5.7 on the top, and we have an FN 545 tactical on the bottom. And I did a previous comparison. I've been doing a couple comparison videos with this FN 57. I knew eventually I would go down this rabbit hole and get this FN 57 out and do some comparisons with it. I did a 9mm comparison, so I'm going to do it with the other common caliber, which is 45 ACP. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you neither one of these FN pistols have anything in them, and we are clear to make the video, and nobody can get hurt. No ammunition stuck in here, and no bullets are going to come through the screen. So what we have here, this is a FN 57. This was a pretty controversial gun when it came out. They developed this in 1998, and it became available to the general public in 2004 after the assault weapons ban came out. Now this was made to possibly replace the 9mm as a NATO round, and its main claim to fame is like a miniature rifle cartridge, and it has a lot of velocity. This is the regular rounds in these things that are available to the public travel over 2,000 feet per second. And one of the things that they're advertised is these things will sometimes, with the correct ammo, penetrate soft body armor. And the capacity on this thing is a 20-round magazine that goes in it. And basically it's a polymer frame. It's just a hammer-fired gun. And it has a polymer cap that goes around, like a sleeve that goes around the metal slide on it. But FN usually makes really good quality stuff. It's got adjustable sights on it. And, they just known for making really good quality stuff. It's got a real good trigger on it because it's a hammer-fired gun. You can see there's like barely no take-up on it, and it's just a very tactile trigger on it. Now, one of the things that people like about this gun is the fact that you can carry 20 rounds. It's moving at over 2,000 feet per second. It's got great penetration. It shoots very flat, and it has virtually no recoil to it. So when you're shooting this thing, the muzzle ride is very minimal. They claim it's about 40% less than a 9mm, and I believe them. I don't see a problem with that at all, that it shoots about 40% less recoil than a 9mm. And all the 9mm people's arguments, the reason they choose 9mm is capacity and velocity. And this thing beats it in both categories. And I did a video comparing this. I'm not going to rehash all that, but this thing holds a lot of ammo, has very low recoil, and has a very high velocity round coming out of it. Now, as far as the penetrating the soft body armor, folks, you're going to have the correct ammo to it, and all the conditions have to be right. And I would not bet my life on it that this thing's going through body armor every single time. Plus, who really encounters somebody with body armor? I mean, you're using this for home defense or maybe a duty weapon. It's very unlikely. I mean, it's possible, but unlikely you're going to encounter somebody with body armor. But if you want something that shoots with no recoil, has a high velocity, fast moving bullet, this is probably your choice. And I would say this is a far better choice than a 9mm, if that is your argument. I'm under the impression the handgun is a handgun, and your handgun is to get you to your rifle. So you make the choice what you want to do. It's a very good performing weapon. Virtually anybody can pick this up and be successful with it because of the lack of recoil on it and the capacity in it. Now, what we're going to compare that to is a 45. And this one is an FN 545 tactical. These have been about a year, and these are the ones with the threaded barrel, and they have all the ambidextrous stuff on them. Everything's ambidextrous, the magazine release and all that stuff. And they come equipped with the plate on the top for mounting an optic on it, and a Picatinny rail on the bottom for mounting a light, same as the 5.7. The 5.7 does not have a plate mount on top. I believe they just came out with one here recently that you can put a optic on it, but I do not own one of those. But the optic I have on this is a dual illuminated Trichicon RMR. This is one that does not require the batteries. It has tritium in it where it'll work in the dark, and this fiber optic sleeve on top of it allows it to pick up light and work during the daytime. No batteries required, and I have a Surefire X300 Ultra Light on it. Now, the debate is, we've already went through the 9mm versus the FN57, so let's go through the 45. So a 45 is what a lot of people refer to as a slow moving bullet. And folks, that is true when it is compared to a 9mm or a rifle round or even a 5.7. But I don't understand for the life of me what it matters how fast the bullet's going. This thing will not go through body armor, but 9 times out of 10, this one's not going to go through body armor either. Now, this one's moving at around a little over 2,000 feet per second with common ammunition, and this one's moving at 900 feet per second. So this one's going to be about twice as fast. Now, when you're talking about energy, a 45 is going to hit a target at 25 yards. It's going to produce about 411 pounds of energy upon hitting its target. And this FN57 comes pretty close. It's going to be around 380. It's a little bit less. It's not a measurable amount. But the fact is, if you look at the bores on them, the 45's got a lot more mass to it. And when I say a lot more mass, I mean like double. Double the diameter and size. So you're going to make a lot larger hole with the 45 than you are the FN57. So one of the arguments could be that this one's going to have a lot less recoil, so you can put a lot more rounds in the same hole than you can with the 45. Now, this one's kind of bulky, and I don't think recoil is really that much of an issue. It does have some muzzle flip to it, but that's what you call training, folks. You got to train with stuff. Now, as far as cost, the ammunition is going to be a little bit more expensive for the FN57 than it is the 45. Now, when you start getting into this hot stuff, like real hot 45 that will actually do really good terminal ballistics and all that, the cost is going to be about the same, folks. It's going to cost about the same. As far as the price of these guns, the price is going to be about the same for the 5.7 as it is this one. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more money in because it's outfitted out with a bunch of expensive stuff on it, but just the beer gun with the iron sights on it, and to buy it, it's going to cost about the same. Now, capacity wise, this gun, the reason I chose this gun, first of all, it's a 45. It's the greatest caliber ever. But the second reason I chose it is the capacity. This thing has an 18+1 capacity. So you're about 2 rounds shy of having what you have in the FN57. So basically, either way you choose to go, folks, either one of these is a very good choice. Now, with this one, it's going to be require a little bit more training because you are going to have a little bit more felt recoil, but you're also going to have a lot bigger bullet, and you're going to have a lot more stopping power when approached by a perpetrator. You know, when you're shooting at a bad guy, I feel more confident having a larger bullet hitting with more energy than I do filling them up with a smaller bullet. But I'm not saying either one of these are bad. I'm just telling you that that's the way I feel. I feel more comfortable carrying a 45 than I would carrying this. But this is not a bad option. I think this is absolutely a better option than a 9mm. A 9mm is not much more, doesn't have that much more velocity than a 45, and a 45 has a larger bullet. So if you want to do a trade-off, if you want to go with a smaller round, I would choose the 5.7 over a 9mm any day of the week, because this thing is absolutely got velocity, and this thing does have penetrating power. And the advantage of this one is the no recoil. So you have a lot of rounds in this thing, no recoil, and a really high velocity bullet moving. So choice is really yours. I just wanted to make a comparison and show a 45 ACP versus a 5.7, and these both happen to be made by FM. This one holds 18, this one holds 20, and the choice could be yours, folks. I mean, you can go any way you want with it. Handguns are really just handguns. They're really just for protection, and if you got into a real bad situation, they're really just to get you to your rifle. So you're going to be in close quarters. This one's going to outperform the 45 by far at very long distances, but nobody shoots handguns at very long distances, folks. If you start using self-defense out to 100 yards, you're committing what they call murder, and murder is not legal in any of the states here. So something to think about. A 5.7 or a 45. I've also got a video on a 5.7 versus a 9mm. 5.7 really does shine, though. I mean, it is a really good option for a personal protection handgun. The only problem with them is the size of the round makes its grip very big, and this is actually a pretty large gun, and that's why I used a full-size 45 in the comparison. Same with the 9mm. So anyway, folks, let me know what you think about these two weapons, which one you would choose, which ones you wouldn't choose, which one's bad, which one's good. I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions on them. I have separate videos on each one of these where I extensively go into it. And thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.